What's going on, everybody? Welcome to J Sports Seattle. I'm back once more. It's been a long time. I've finally graduated. I've started a new job, so I've just been getting life underway. But today I'm off, so I am going to, for the first time in a long time, I'm going to talk about the Mariners. And sorry if you hear a scratching in the background. It's just my cat, so apologies about that. But yeah, I'm gonna be talking about the Mariners. It's been a couple months since I've talked about these guys, so I figured I'd talk about them now. So if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content, or in this case, Mariners and Seattle sports content. And without further ado, let's get on the video. So yeah, I mean the Mariners. They've been the Mariners. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's every single year we think this team has a chance of doing something good, and we have been. But then something else has to go wrong. It's just how Seattle sports work. And mainly it's how the Mariners work. Uh, so, the Mariners have, kind of been the past five, ever since 2020, the Mariners have always usually had iffy starts to the first part of the season. Uh, and the past few years it's been because the hitting just hasn't been able to get on track, even though we've had immaculate pitching. But this year is a little different because the thing that we needed came through and is still here. But on the other side of the ball, and it's not necessarily all their fault because injuries happen, but on the other side of the ball, it seems like we got one side of the ball right, and then the other side of the ball just goes to crap. So, let's go over our hitting stats. I mean, we've been one of the better offenses in the league this year. At one point, we were top 5. We've kind of cooled off the past couple weeks, but we're still top 10 in total runs scored. We're top 10 in home runs. We've cut down our strikeout rate to we're still top 10, but we're not leading the league like we used to. We're top 10 in walks, top 5 in walks. Exactly. At one point, we used to lead the league in walks. Batting average is a little better than it was, marginally better than it was last year. We're at 21st versus last year we were like 29th. So the offense has been better than what it has been, and it's been doing its job. It's been producing runs. But let's go to the pitching. Our ERA is 17th, just slightly below average. It hasn't been as good as it was last year. I mean, you saw the past 3 games we've allowed 9 or more runs. And that's with two of them having our starters in. Let's see. Let me think. So yesterday we had Bryan Woo, who pitched he pitched a gem. 7 innings, 2 runs allowed. You think a game that was led by Bryan Woo would result in a W when he only allows 2 runs and the offense scores 6? No. Our pitching, it just has not, and it's been our bullpen. Our bullpen has actually been solid until the past few games. The bullpen's just been hit or miss this year. Sometimes they'll throw some crazy stretches of just scoreless innings, but recently they've kind of shown that they can get to them. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Andres Munoz proved that he is human after all yesterday. I mean, he was trending to be the best closer and potentially on a Cy Young trajectory as a reliever, as a closer. That hasn't been done since the Mariana days, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how rare that is. But he proved that he was human yesterday. He allowed 3 runs, blew a save, his 3rd save of the year, and yeah, he was able to get out of the inning with the tie game, but we were up 3 runs. And that loss right there is 100% on Pete Woodworth and the coaching staff. The reason being is because you do not let your pitcher go. I do blame Cal too, because he can also go up there and diffuse the situation. But you do not let your pitcher, let alone the best pitcher that you have, you do not let him go out there and continue being shredded, just continue feeding him to the wolves. After that 2-run homer, you got to go out and settle him. At minimum, after that single, the one that because Pete Woodworth came out after he threw that wild pitch. Why wait so long? He gave up a 2-run home run that was belted to center field. I mean, absolutely blasted. And then he gave up a single afterwards. Why not go take a mound visit after the single at the bare minimum? So that's a coaching loss right there. And in my opinion, coaching has not been good this year. Dan Wilson has not impressed me as manager so far. I feel like he's done some very questionable. He has good moments, but I feel like I've noticed a lot of more moments that kind of impact the team. Like, I'll give one example. For example, a couple nights ago, we lost in extra innings against the Washington Nationals, who are an up-and-coming team. Don't let the record fool you. They look at what they did to the Diamondbacks, but albeit is going through their own issues over there. But still, they can produce runs. I mean, let's see. Where are they in runs produced? See, they're 11th in runs produced. They're just right behind us. So they're no slouch. They're no slouch when it comes to producing runs. It's just their pitching has been horrendous this year. But the thing about that is, we going back to my point. The thing about that is, a couple nights ago during that extra innings loss, we're facing all lefties. Okay, yes, we're facing all lefties, but the thing is, Logan Evans had no problem with that. No problem, none. 8 innings, 1 run. He completely carved him up. I was actually, and that's another thing, I was pissed. I was absolutely beside myself that Dan Wilson did not let him go and get 9. Because we were up 9-1. Who gives a crap if he gives up a couple runs? He'll pitch a complete game. That's unacceptable from Dan Wilson, in my opinion. And I don't like that. And that's disrespectful to Logan Evans. And then another reason why Dan Wilson hasn't really impressed me so far is a couple nights ago in the 10th inning, you're facing an all lefty lineup, and you put in Colin Snyder, who's gotten raked this year by lefty. Batting before he entered and got absolutely destroyed by the Nationals. He allowed 286 batting average. And then Legumina, I mean, to be fair, he did get shelled yesterday, but to be fair, I already credited the loss to Pete Woodworth in the 9th inning, so that I don't really fault him too much for that. But before that Nationals game, that final Nationals game, the matinee, or not the matinee, but the rubber game, he was allowing 138 against lefty hitters. I understand we kind of moved away from the analytics approach, but you still got to see who's doing good against what. You see that Colin Snyder's not having a good year against lefties. You see that Casey Legumina has had an amazing year, absolutely carving up lefties. So why not give him the chance to go and get us out of the 10th against an all lefty lineup? And you're basically, and you're saying you're taking a chance. Oh, maybe one game he won't allow a 286 bat. No, there's a reason why he allows a 286 batting average against lefties, because he doesn't do well against lefties. Colin Snyder, that is. He's only good against righties, and that's okay if you are only good against righties as a reliever. That's your job. But why would you do that to Casey Legumina and the Mariners as a whole? So that's just a couple examples of Dan Wilson not impressing me as manager so far this year. And I think that there have been a few games that we could have easily won if he won one direction. That was probably more obvious. And I mean, obviously, the game with Logan Evans was already won. But the fact that he would not let his young pitcher go out there and get a complete game, something that's very hard to do in today's game with offenses going crazy with the pitch clock and everything, that's just disrespectful to Logan Evans to me, and that just rubs me the wrong way as a manager. You can't do that to your guy, and that's just that kind of shows me who you are as a manager. You're really like, yes, you want to make sure that he's taken care of, but it kind of just shows that you're not for your guys. You're for whatever you're being told to do, I guess. And that's just, I don't know, man. I don't think Dan Wilson He's not. I don't think he's the long term answer at manager. We need to go get an established with this roster that we have. We got to go look what happened when we got an established hitting coach, Kevin Seitzer. He is he's won a World Series with the Braves as a hitting coach. Has multiple years credited to where he made people better and the offense is better with his philosophy. Why can't we do that with a manager? I understand Dan Wilson. He played for the Mariners. He's a catcher. He was a catcher for the Mariners, and he had some good years for the Mariners. And he understands how the organization works. But that doesn't matter when it comes to experience, playoff experience. You need to this team, this roster. We already have playoff experience. We went to the playoffs in 2022. Yes, it was 3 years ago, but this roster has playoff experience. So why would you pair a team that's ready for the playoffs and has playoff experience with a manager that's brand new and has not ever managed before? I mean, obviously he was the interim last year. Before last year, never managed a day in his life. It's one thing if this is like a rebuilding team and you want to, you're sticking with him for the long haul, but we just got done with Scott Service. We got done with 8 years of Scott Service in one playoff appearance. And this team already is primed for deep playoff appearances with under the right guidance. Why not and try to see if we can go get someone? Ron Washington was available. He was available. He's an established and a well-respected coach in this league. Yes, he's the oldest coach in the league. I get it. He's like the Pete Carroll of baseball. But when it comes to baseball, it's a little different. His ideology is kind of similar to how they do things on offense. Just put the bat in play or put the ball in play and see what happens. And that's what's been working well for us this year. And why can't we do the same thing for our manager? We could have gotten Ron Washington. Absolutely. He hasn't won a World Series, but he's been to a World Series as a manager. The Rangers. Yeah, they choked that World Series. They were up 3-2. They could have easily won that series against the Cardinals. But still, he's been to the World Series, and Dan Wilson has it as manager. So I just think we need, with this roster, we need somebody who's more experienced and knows what to do with a pretty good roster like this is. And we would probably have much better results. Because here's the thing. The year that this team goes guns a-blazing to start out the season, like what the Yankees are at right now. Here, I'll go to the standings. Because right now we just gave up first. After that horrific loss yesterday, we lost first place. And, oh my goodness, my internet's crapping itself. But I don't need the internet to okay, here we go. And we don't do well against teams above 500. Look at the Astros. They have a positive record against teams above 500. And we don't do well at home. We have a 500 record at home. It's just bad for business. And like I said, I can't really fault all of the pitching because we've had injuries. But Bryce Miller hasn't really had a good year. He has struggled this year. Even before the injury, he was struggling. Logan Gilbert, he's been pretty good. So he's been in form. So I can't. I'm not going to take anything away from him. Same with Brian Wu. Brian Wu has been spectacular this year. Absolutely spectacular. Emerson Hancock has done better than I thought. He has some bad outings, but he's a sixth guy. And if you can get one good game out of him in every 2 to 3 games, that's all you can ask from your sixth guy. And then Logan Evans, this dude proved that he's up next by pitching 8 innings with 8 innings against an all lefty lineup with 1 run allowed, and that's just crazy. We're going on a skid right now. We've lost 3 in a row. We've lost 3 of our last 7 of our last 10. We're not doing too hot right now, and that's because our pitching has absolutely been it's been collapsing on itself. We've had pretty good outings so far. Like on that road trip against San Diego, we allowed that lineup is really, really good. Albeit San Diego's fallen off. They kind of came down to earth a bit after that torrid start. But we allowed that offense is lined up and it's cracked. It's an elite lineup, And each game we allowed 1 run allowed. So what changed? I don't know. Like, and I don't know if it's the pitching philosophy, but it is the pitching philosophy. Because the thing that I have noticed is that we have been attacking and attacking and attacking inside of hitters a lot, and they have been mashing us. Like, look at the Astros, for example. They are really, really good at mashing balls that are pitched into them, inside to them. Why can't we, work around that? Albeit some pitches made, like, for example, like the Andres Munoz single against Buxton where he allowed the RBI, or was it Buxton? But basically that single, I think it was a breaking ball outside of the, right at the bottom of the zone. It's just a good play by the defense, or by the hitter. I can't blame Munoz for that. That's a good pitch. But that's just one example. I can't really blame the pitcher. The pitching has not been good the past few games. The past week hasn't been good. We've been getting shelled, absolutely shelled. So, we allowed a walk-off against the Astros. We won Game 1 of the National Series 9-1. Had a great outing there because of Logan Evans, and then we've just absolutely just been getting stamped on the past 3 games. 9+ runs in the past 3 games. That's just unacceptable from the pitching. So something's got to change. Pete Woodward's got to, this whole team's got to get together and figure something out. Because I know vibes are starting to dwindle. You just lost. You had first place for a majority of the past several weeks, and the majority of since the beginning of the season. And you're kind of doing what you did last year, albeit on a less dramatic scale, because last year was a 10-run lead versus we had a 3.5 game lead. But still, you're losing games that are easily winnable, and it's just unacceptable from the team, and it's just, I don't know if, I think it's just Dan Wilson not really being a good manager. Like I said, I've already gave a couple examples why I don't think he's a good manager, and he hasn't really impressed me, I should say. That doesn't mean he can't redeem himself, but he hasn't impressed me so far as manager. So we'll see what happens. It's still, hey, I'm only basing off what I've seen for the first 2 months of this season. So we've gone through 57 games so far. And we're like a third of the way of the season. This is expected from the Mariners through the season. But the AL West is still wide open. So I'm not going to give up hope. Sorry. I'm not going to give up hope and think that we're lost because we're going on some skid. The Astros were on a skid at one point. The Rangers are going on a crazy skid. They lost a series to the White Sox. It's just baseball. It happens. So I'm not ready to say that we're not going to win the division this year. But based off what we've seen the past 22 years, what makes you think that, just based off that, what makes you think we can win a division this year just based off the past 23 years of not winning it? So 24, actually. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, we're only a third of the way through the season and there's still a lot of baseball to be played. And we know the Mariners really have not reached their potential yet. We know that we are a second-half team. We have shown this for 3 straight years, that we are a second-half team. We are a warm-weather hitting team. And I guess that's fine, but the pitching has to keep up with that. And the pitching hasn't so far. It's been below average, and Pete Woodward's got to figure something out, especially since we're getting people back. Bryce Miller's going to be on the mound today. So we're starting to get to the no excuse territory here, because we're almost fully healthy. George Kirby is back. Bryce Miller is back. Logan Gilbert is on his way back. He just had a rehab start. So we're starting to get fully healthy in the pitching squad. So I don't want to. This is put up or shut up right now from the pitching squad from here on out. So I don't want to hear any more excuses about we're injured, because we're getting healthy now. So if we start performing like we were last year, great, awesome. But if we continue to start slipping and allowing 8-9 runs a game, something's got to change here. Either Pete Woodward's got to go, or we're going to have to start doing some trades. I don't know. But we're starting to get healthy now in the pitching department, so we need to perform that well. So that's it's as simple as that. Brian Wu has been doing his job. Logan Gilbert's been doing his job when he's been in. Bryce Miller has not really had a good year, in my opinion. He has an ERA near 5. That's not good, especially after the year he just had. George Kirby has had a disastrous start to his 2025 campaign, and I'm not worried. I'm not too worried about him, because he just needs to get back. And he hasn't pitched in probably 8 or 9 months, so he just needs to get back into form. So, but Bryce Miller on the other hand, he hasn't really had an injury. He's been getting hitters have figured him out. So we have to figure something out on the pitching side, and we got to keep the pressure and the gas on the offensive side because there have been moments where would go scoreless. Like there was, I think, we were scoreless against the Nationals, and we were scoreless for like 16 or 17 innings, or 15 or 16 innings against the Nationals, who have one of the worst pitching squads in the league. That's not okay. So obviously we scored 6 runs against the Twins, and that should be enough to win you a game, but the pitching sold. So I'm not going to blame the offense on that. The offense has been well this year. I'm not going to blame the offense much this year. It's been really the pitching, in my opinion. So got to get it together. But like I said, it's only been a third of the way through the season, so I'm not too worried about it. The Mariners are only a half game back. We've relinquished the lead for the first time since the beginning of the season. The Astros are kind of on a little bit of a they're on a little bit of a winning streak, or like a hot streak. So they're going to have their time. It's just baseball. Teams get hot. It's all about which teams get hot at the right time. It's literally how it is. If you get hot early and stay hot, you're going to win your division and go to the playoffs. If you have a rough or mediocre start and go crazy in the second half, you're most likely going to make the wild card. And if you're in a crappy division, you're going to, like this division here is not really that good, you're going to win a division. So there's a lot of baseball left to be played. I've already acknowledged that. But I'm just noticing from what I've seen, I'm not really impressed. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can bounce back against the Twins today. We've lost 3 straight games, so there's got to be something. There's got to be some talk going on in that locker room, and they've got to be able to come together and go back to what they were doing the first few weeks of the season, basically that month of April. So, but yeah, I know this video is long because I haven't made a video on the Mariners in a couple months, but I think that's all I have for this video. I'm actually going to make a Seahawks video after this because I want to just talk about the Seahawks for a bit and kind of just touch up on what I think is going to happen this offseason. The OTAs have already started, but the media is not allowed onto the field until next week, so we can't really see the action. But yeah, I'm going to talk about them. But if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Mariners and Seattle sports content. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good day, and go Hawks, go Mariners, and go Kraken.